Here we are in the dark. No need to speak, no need.
Welcome back to the Baltimore Orioles franchise on MLB the Show. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment below. It is the Orioles taking on the Mariners in this one. We come into the game 19-13 and looking for a 4-game sweep on the road. The team has everything kind of clicking at the moment, as you can see the results of the first 3 games of the series right there. And getting things started for the Mariners on the hill, it's Ian McKinney. The young left-hander has not been very sharp so far this season. The ERA sitting at about 6.5, the whip over 1.8. And starting things off is Clay Hopkins. He gets a hanging curve on the second pitch of the game and takes it through the right side for a base hit. Another look here as he just stays back on that one. Nice piece of hitting. And the Orioles in business. Then it's Jake Shiner. First pitch, he takes that one down the line. So just 3 pitches in, it's going to be second and third as Hopkins comes around and is now just 90 feet away. And that would bring up Rafael Devers. He kind of gets jammed on this one. A soft liner handled it short. That's the first out. And now one away, we'll take a look at the Orioles lineup in this one, as it was Hopkins leading off, has that average up now over 300. Shiner batting second, then Devers, Seager, Mancini has been struggling, then Santander and Rutschman, who has been struggling, then Hayes tearing the cover off the ball. Bobby Witt Jr. will bat ninth. 0-2 pitch to Corey Seager. He flares one that just gets over the shortstop's glove, sort of a soft liner there, into left center field. 2-run score, and the Orioles in front by 2, just 9 pitches into the game. Then next batter, Trey Mancini, down on strikes. He has really struggled with the strikeout. That's the first K for McKinney. Then Anthony Santander had a pitch to hit, but got under it, and that is going to do it for the inning as the Orioles strike first. A 2-run lead, just a half inning into the ball game, and now Milton Byrnes going to take the hill for the Orioles. You see his numbers so far this season. He has just been a disaster on the mound. 20 walks in 29 and a third innings. 35 hits isn't terrible, but when you combine both of those, it has been a rough go. The ERA is over 8, and the first batter of the game takes one into left, and that's going to be caught, though. Hopkins was playing that one well. Now we'll look at the Mariners lineup. It's Fraley in left, J.P. Crawford at short, Kyle Lewis in center, Dom Thomas-Williams in center, or Thompson-Williams, then Cooper, France, Taylor Trammell in right, Dylan Moore batting 8, playing second, and Alex Rosario will be the catcher batting ninth. Now 2 outs in the inning. It's an 0-2 pitch to Kyle Lewis, ground ball to short. That's handled by Bobby Witt Jr., and the Orioles, or the Mariners rather, are down in order in their half of the first. Now on to the second, still 2-0. Adley Rutschman chases one way up out of the zone. He's down on strikes for the first out of the inning. Second K for McKinney. Then it's Bobby Witt Jr. with 2 away. Takes one through the left side for a base knock, and they've got speed on the bases with 2 down in the inning, and Clay Hopkins due up. 0-1 pitch, though. He reaches out and rolls over a changeup. That is going to be handled for the final out of the inning, and the Orioles go scoreless there in the top half of the second. Now on to the bottom. Dom T. Williams caught looking at a changeup. Looked like it might have been low, but Byrnes gets the call. That's his first K. Now 2 away in the inning for France. A hanging curve, and he smokes that one up the middle for a 2-out single. So the Mariners have their first base runner of the ball game with 2 away here in the inning. Then it's Taylor Trammell. It's a soft liner that Mancini handles at first, and that's it for the Mariners. We go to the third, and it's still 2-0. So McKinney goes back to work. It's Rafael Devers, first, or a 2-2 pitch with 1 out, and he lines that one somehow that goes past the first baseman who was hugging the line, and it still stays fair. So he hit that ball really hard. Then it's Corey Seager back up the middle. He flips to the bag for the 4-6-3 double play, and that ends the inning for the Orioles. And then the first pitch of the next inning, Milton Byrnes leaves one right down the middle, and Dylan Moore just murders this ball His 5th of the year. That goes over the bullpen in left. Another look at the swing there. He knew it was gone. Everybody knew that one was gone. As you can see, this thing hits the stairs out there past the bullpen in left field. Next, with one away, it's Jake Fraley. He slices one into left field for a 1-out single, and he's got some speed, so look out. And now J.P. Crawford. There goes Fraley. It's a ground ball to first that Mancini just steps on the bag, so putting him in motion probably prevented double play there. Then Kyle Lewis on a 1-2 curve hits a ground ball to second, and that's it for the Mariners. But they do get on the board thanks to the home run from Dylan Moore, and leads cut in half as it's 2-1 now after 3 innings of play. 2 out in the 4th, it's Adley Rutschman. It's a curve down the middle, hits it hard but right at the center fielder, so tough luck there. And the Orioles go down in order in their half. Now to the bottom of the 4th, middle of the order due up for the Orioles. It's Dom T. Williams down on strikes for the 2nd time, and that's just the 2nd strikeout for Byrnes in the ballgame. Then Garrett Cooper takes one down the right field line. That's going to stay fair, get into the corner. He's going to turn and head for second, and it is a 1-out double. So the Mariners with a runner in scoring position, just 1 out in the inning. Then Ty France, 3-1 pitch, got a hanger, but hits it back up the middle. Bobby Witt Jr. Fields throws to first, and that's the 2nd out. So Taylor Trammell with 2 down. He got a changeup that was up and hits it off the end of the bat into right field. That's going to get down, and we are tied at 2 as the Mariners have clawed back to even the score. Next batter, just a ground ball to second, and that's going to do it for the Mariners. But we are now tied after 4 innings of play thanks to the RBI single from Taylor Trammell with 2 away in the inning. Now on to the top of the 5th. Austin Hayes could not hold up on the changeup away. He's down on strikes. That's the 1st out of the inning. Then with 2 away, Clay Hopkins chases one up, hits it into left center field. Long run for Fraley. He catches it as he tumbles to the turf. And after 4.5, we're tied at 2. Now Alex Rosario caught looking to start the inning. That's the 1st out and 3rd strikeout for Milton Byrnes. Nice looking breaking ball there. And Jake Fraley now in the top of the 6th. He's down on strikes as both of these pitchers kind of getting settled in now. Finally, McKinney looking like he's got things under control, as does Byrnes. Ground ball to 3rd here in the bottom of the 6th. Over to 1st. That's the 1st out of the inning, and Byrnes looking pretty good. Then it's Dom T. Williams, ground ball up the middle. Jump throw is going to get him for the 2nd out of the inning. Nice play there. Now it's 2 away for Garrett Cooper. Gets a hanging curve and rips this ball into right center field, down for a 2-out single. Byrnes going to stay out there for the time being. Just 78 pitches into his outing, and that's going to be a ground ball to second, and that will do it for the Mariners in the 6th. So 3 innings left to play. We're tied at 2. Both of these pitchers came in struggling, but doing a pretty good job now. Both looking for quality starts on the day. Trey Mancini chases one way up out of the zone, and he's down on strikes again. 5 Ks for McKinney as Mancini continues to struggle. Now, a 3-0 pitch to Santander. He goes after that one. It's a fastball that was very hittable. He gets a single out of it as it gets down in front of the right fielder for a base knock. And that is an 11-game hitting streak for Mr. Santander, so good for him. Then it's Adley Rutschman, a hanging curve, rips it into left field, but tough luck again, as that's twice now he's hit the ball hard with nothing to show for it. Now 2 away for Austin Hayes. Goes down to hit this fastball, hits it deep to center field, but that's going to stay in the park, caught just shy of the track for the final out of the inning. Going to the stretch, still tied at 2, bottom of the order due up, and Byrnes is going to stay in the ballgame. He gets Trammell looking this time, and that's the 1st out of the inning, and now 4 strikeouts for Byrnes. Now 2 away, it's Alex Rosario, ground ball to short, and Byrnes now has 7 innings of work under his belt. But that's likely to be the end of the road for him with the pitch count getting up there. Same story for McKinney, as the Mariners are going to turn to Justin Dunn out of the bullpen. This will be his 19th appearance of the season already. And starting things off, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Nice piece of hitting there as he takes that one into right center field for a base hit to start the inning. He's got speed. We'll see if the Orioles try to take advantage. 2-0 pitch with 1 away. He's off and running and in with a stolen base. So now runner in scoring position. One out in the inning, and the Orioles have 2, 3, 4 due up in the batting order, so we'll see if they can get the job done here. Next pitch to Jake Shiner. He takes it to the right side, was looking for that slurve, hit it hard, but unfortunately That's going to be the second out of the inning. Then Devers going with one here. Backhanded stop, and the throw is going to get him, so the runner is stranded. Now we go to the bottom of the eighth, top of the order due up for the Mariners, and the Orioles are going to turn to Derek Norman out of the bullpen. He's been pretty good for them so far. The ERA sitting at 2.7. This will be his 10th appearance now on the season, starting things off. Jake Fraley, fastball up and in. Take a seat. Thank you very much, sir. And now we get a look at the numbers from Milton Byrnes. 7 innings, 6 hits. He didn't walk anybody, so that's the big improvement, and he struck out 4. 2 earned runs. The home run obviously was a huge mistake, but all in all, he pitched very well in this one. Next batter, he's down on strike. That was J.P. Crawford, same pitch up and in. And then it's Kyle Lewis caught looking to end the inning. Nice inning of work from Derek Foreman. He strikes out the side in order, and that was the top of the order as well, so very impressive work for him. Now on to the ninth. Dunn's still out there. It's a 4-pitch walk to Corey Seager to start the inning. Trey Mancini due up, and the Mariners, interestingly, going to leave him in the ballgame. Mancini, line drive and a leaping grab at third. That could have been huge because that would have made it, multiple runners on with nobody out. Then it's with 1 out in the inning. Santander going back up the middle. Seager holds at second. The throw was offline, so he might have been able to get in there to third, but nonetheless, now first and second, 1 out. Adley Rutschman hits it hard again. This time it's bobbled it short. Could have been a double play to get him out of the inning. So a huge opportunity for the Orioles to make him pay. It's Austin Hayes. He hits it hard, but it's fielded on the hop, and that is going to be a huge third out of the inning there as the Mariners escape danger and we're going to the bottom of the ninth. Foreman staying out there to face Dom T. Williams. It's lefty on lefty, and he gets a line drive, but Bobby Witt handles that for the first out of the inning. And now the Orioles return to the bullpen as it's Travis Lakins coming on. He's been pretty good for them so far this year. The ERA at 2.31. This will be his 14th appearance. And starting things off, Garrett Cooper down on strikes. So that's the second out of the inning. And Lakins just 1 out away from sending us to extras. It's Ty France, player in the left. That's right at Jorge Colon out there for the final out of the inning. And we are going to have some free baseball in this one. So the extra innings rule in play. Bobby Witt Jr. flares one into shallow center, but that's not going to get down. Then Colon off the end of the bat. That's also not going to get down. Now 2-way in the inning. And Jake Shiner due up. 0-1 pitch to him is hit hard, but right at the shortstop. The Orioles go scoreless as Dunn has given them 3 innings in relief in this one. Lakins goes back out there, gets Trammell swinging to start the inning, so that's 1 away. Second strikeout for Lakins. Then it's Alex Rosario with 2 outs. Ball in the dirt. Rutschman blocks it. Aggressive base running there, but he gets to third now just 90 feet away with 2 outs in the inning. Next pitch to Rosario, though, is a cutter down in a way that he just chops right in front of the plate. Rutschman sends it down to first, and we've got more free baseball going to the 11th. Remember, the Orioles scored 2 runs just 4 batters into the game. Now, Devers with a line drive into right field. They hold the runner at third. Now first and third, nobody out, and now the Mariners going to turn to the bullpen as Daniel Tillo going to come on for his 7th appearance of the season. He's been pretty good for them so far this year, and he's going to have a tough task here. First and third, and the 4-hitter due up, but he gets Corey Seager swinging through a slider that he started in on his hands. Now it's 1 away for Trey Mancini. That ball is hit very hard. Third baseman thought about coming home with it, but then realizes, you know what, it's Mancini running down the line. I can go around the horn here, and we're out of this inning. And that's exactly what happened, as now we go to the bottom of the 11th, still tied. Paul Fry coming on, trying to make it it's trying to send us to the 12th inning. He has struggled a little bit so far this year with the ERA up at 4.7. First batter he faces, Jake Fraley, down, looking there, or maybe he checked his swing. But that's the first out, and a K for Paul Fry. Now 2-way in the inning. Lewis back up the middle. Backhanded stop by Shiner. Throw was in the dirt, but Mancini handles that, and we are going to the 12th. 2-away in the inning. Austin Hayes gets one to hit. Hits it deep to left field, but stays in the park. That's twice he's hit the ball to the warning track in this ball game. And we're going to the bottom of the 12th. Still tied at 2. First batter, Dom T. Williams, ground ball to the right side. And now they've got the winning run just 90 feet away. He's got some speed as well. The Orioles going to go ahead and walk a man to try and maybe set up a double play to get him out of the inning. Keep that in mind, is because the next batter after a pitching change here, they're going to go to Dylan Tate. Now they trying to set up the double play, right? Dylan Tate comes on and immediately induces a ground ball to third base. And what does Devers do? He goes home with it. They didn't have any speed running down the line. They go home with it. They do get the out, but now the inning continues. Runners on first and second. 2 outs for Taylor Trammell. An 0-2 pitch. Change up down. Fouls it off. They go now to a fastball. Fouls that off. Now they're going to try going up with a fastball. He fouls that off. 1-2 pitch again. Change up down and away. Fouls it off. Try a fastball up and away again. Fouls that off. 5 foul balls in a row. How about make it 6 as the change up down and away. He fights that off yet again. And now 1-2. They go down and in. He slices it down the left field line. Cologne can't get there, and the Mariners are going to walk it off. What an at-bat there to end it. Taylor Trammell just would not cave after he fell behind in the count, and he is going to be the hero with the RBI single to win it in the 12th. Dylan Moore gets player of the game honors for some reason. I would have given it to Trammell. Daniel Tillo did an outstanding job in relief. 2 innings. Remember, he came in first and third, nobody out. Well-deserved win for him. Paul Fry gets saddled with the loss, although Dylan Tate was out there at the end of this one. We'll take a look at the box score. The Orioles, 9 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts. And remember, they scored 2 runs very early in this game, and then the bats just I wouldn't necessarily say that they went silent, but they just couldn't come up with the big hit when they needed it, and they fall in this one in a heartbreaker. Bobby Witt Jr. stole a base, his 7th of the year. The bullpen, all in all, did an outstanding job. You got to feel bad for Dylan Tate, who, I mean, honestly, that's a very hard-fought at bat there that ends up kind of jamming him, and he inside outs one into left that ends up winning it. The Mariners only had 7 hits and a walk on the day. They struck out 10 times, but they made those hits count when they got them, and they win this one by the final of 3-2. We'll take a look now farther down. There's Trammell, 2 for 5, 2 RBIs. Like I said, I would have given him the player of the game honors. A home run for Moore, that was his 5th. McKinney pitched well. Dunn goes 3 innings, 3 hits and a walk, does not allow a run. Then Tillo comes in, 2 innings, doesn't allow a base runner, and gets the victory in this one as they take it 3-2 in 12 innings here in Seattle. Now, before we wrap up the episode, we have reached basically the point of the season where we are a quarter of the way through. We've played 40 games, so we're going to take a look around the league and do sort of a quarterly update here. Starting with standings, we're going to take a look at the American League East, where we're 1 game up on the Rays, 2 games up on the Jays. Now, we're not playing the greatest baseball, but we are in first place. We could be 3 or 4 wins better than what we're showing right there. We'll get into why in a second. Actually, let's look at the rest of the standings around the league while we're at it. The Royals off to a pretty good start, 2.5 up on the Indians. Tigers in the cellar. Astros looking good in the West, with a couple teams there still playing pretty decent baseball. And the wild card's still a mess at this point in the season, so not much to say about that. The Mets are up on the Braves and Nationals by a game and a game and a half, respectively. Cubs are 23-15, 3.5 up on the Cardinals, and the Pirates are still awful. The Diamondbacks, the surprise of baseball, if you ask me, at 23-16, first place in the American League West. That's the first time we've seen anybody but one of these 2 guys in a while. Now, it's early, but they're off to a good start. And then in the wild card again, still pretty much too early in the season to really get too caught up with that, section, but nonetheless, that's where we're at. Now we want to look at player stats. We'll sort by OPS, and Austin Hayes is the standout kind of surprise of the team. He is swinging the bat extremely well. Now, he's still not very good against lefties, but the dude is absolutely raking against righties so far this season. Devers was really hot out of the gates, has cooled off a little bit, but still performing very well. Corey Seager's starting to pick it up, and he's hot now, so look out for him. Santander has actually been pretty good for us. The average is about where I would expect it to be for him, and the power numbers aren't that bad. So, as good as he is defensively, if he can keep putting up numbers like that, he's basically looking at about 25 home runs in the neighborhood of 100 RBIs for the season, and that's pretty solid. Ramon Urias has done a pretty decent job. Not a ton of at bats, but he is doing a good job putting the ball in play, getting on base, etc. Jahmai Jones has been okay. Only one stolen base though, so we got to figure out a way to get him in the game in stolen base situations. But the problem is, usually who I would be putting him in for is already a guy either with a really good bat or decent speed anyway. Clay Hopkins doing a pretty good job. He's hitting 282. I never expect his OPS to be through the roof because he doesn't have like tremendous power, but 282, couple homers, 5 stolen bases, and just 71 at bats, so he's doing a pretty good job. Jake Shiner's doing decent at 267 with 2 home runs. His average is probably not going to, ever hover up around 300, but he's got decent pop and doing a pretty good job for us, kind of filling in as our Swiss Army knife so far this season. Trey Mancini has been a disappointment. Now, his power numbers are good. The contact is down. He's striking out a ton. He did this last season, though, and then turned it on and ended up having a pretty good year, so I'm not too worried. Adley Rutschman has, struggled a little bit, started to turn it around a little bit lately, but that average has to come up, and yet again, just not showing any power. I just don't understand. I mean, his power numbers aren't like outstanding, but they haven't improved in several seasons, really. And he's just not, he hasn't hit double-digit home runs yet in a season. So keep an eye on that, but he's still our catcher. Jorge Colon has been a disappointment, just cannot get hits with him right now. He's stealing some bases, but I got to get him on base more than that. Now, his on-base percentage at 337 is actually not that bad. If he can get that average up into the 280s, he becomes a really good player for us yet again. Ryan Mountcastle has been a little bit disappointing as far as the average. Need that to come up, but he's just a kind of a role player for us at this point in his career. Bobby Witt Jr. not doing a terrible job, all things considered. I'd like to see that average come up into the 250s or 260s. He's hitting for more power than I would have expected out of him with 4 home runs already. But he's stealing some bases and plays really good shortstop, so we're fine with that. Now, this has been a disappointment here. Diaz just not hitting the ball. He's basically, what is that, 3 for 27 and 1 home run. Just not cutting it, man. So we'll see if he turns it around, and I expect him to, but so far he's off to a rough start. Now, let's sort by whip. And here is the biggest disappointment on the season. Roberto Osuna, a 1.88 whip and a 6.75 ERA. He's got 3 losses already this season, and in save opportunities, where is it? He's got 9 saves. Where's the blown saves? Can't I? Oh, yeah, 3 blown saves already. That's more than he had in either of the last 3 seasons. So, just absolutely getting rocked right now, and I can't explain it. So, he's given up home runs. He gave up a grand slam. We had a 2-run lead going into a game the other day. He gave up a double. I intentionally walked Freddie Freeman, and then he walks a guy and gives up a grand slam. And it was with 2 outs that I walked Freddie Freeman because I didn't want him to hit the game-tying home run. So, bottom line, he's just been terrible. Milton Byrnes has also not been very good. Now, he pitched well for us in the last game that we saw, but since then, he went out and got shelled yet again. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but he wasn't that sharp. Keegan Aiken's doing a pretty decent job out of the bullpen in long relief, but the whip is way higher than I would like it. Paul Fry, his whip and ERA are up a little bit, but still early. Grayson Rodriguez was doing a very good job in kind of like picking up innings in mop-up roles, but over the last couple of outings that he's had, that whip has crept up along with his ERA. So far, what we've seen from Ryan Weathers has been about what I would have expected, and his last couple starts have been pretty good. So, liking what we're seeing from the youngster so far. Dylan Tate has been really good. Derek Gorman has been really good. John Means has been. So, like, the rest of these guys are all doing a very good job. And this is the surprise of the season so far. Pablo Navarro, just absolute filth from him. I mean, his numbers stack up, you know, I mean, not exactly like what Syndergaard is doing, but, I mean, let's see here. Syndergaard has 8 starts. So across the same number of starts, he's pushing the same number of innings, has about the same number of walks. The strikeouts are down a little bit, but the ERA is comparable in an identical whip. So from a guy who we weren't even sure was going to be in the starting rotation this year to, basically the second best pitcher in our rotation so far this season, with maybe the exception being John Means, when you look at his numbers, which are pretty impressive. But those 3 have been outstanding. Weathers is doing a decent job. We just got to get Milton Byrnes going, and then this team can take off. But it's also going to take Roberto Osuna turning things around. Now, we'll look just real quickly at some of the key statistics for league leaders, but don't want to spend too much time here. Aaron Judge hitting .385 so far this season. Austin Hayes 6th on that list. Home runs, Reyes with 14, and then we should have, what's his name? Yeah, Devers at 10, up there in the top 10, pretty good. Let's see, stolen bases. There is Cologne, 1 back of the league lead, so that's pretty solid. Aaron Judge looks like the MVP of the league so far. Noah Syndergaard, is this guy, wow, who is this? J.C. Clooney, 28-year-old lefty, doing a pretty good job for the Royals so far. Those numbers aren't going to continue to stack up. I mean, he's got 6 wins, but the ERA is not reflective of a guy that's the best pitcher in the league. So far, Syndergaard putting himself in the thick of the Cy Young discussion, and Pablo Navarro is a fringe option at that point as well. So maybe we at least see him get into the All-Star game, which would be pretty cool. Saves, there's Osuna. If he would have, not blown any, he'd be right there. So that's kind of disappointing, and definitely our biggest disappointment of the season so far. Maybe with Milton Byrnes just behind him. There's Syndergaard second actually tied for first in the ERA category, so that's cool. Look at this though, shutouts. He's got 3 shutouts already this season. So his games have been, mostly just dominant or pretty good, but he's had several that have been dominant. Strikeouts, he's 5th. Complete games, he's 1st. And look at that. Means and Navarro both had complete game shutouts as well, so they're up there near the top. And then we've got the top 2 guys as far as innings pitched. So Navarro, 56 1/3 through 8 starts. That's over 7 starts an outing, which is very good, especially for a young guy. And his stamina isn't even like outstanding, so he's been efficient in the process of getting to those numbers. So just can't say enough about how well he has pitched. I mean, look at that. We've got 3 guys in the top 5 in WHIP. 2 of the top, the top 2 in WAR, batting WAR. So Austin Hayes, look at you in the top 10. That a boy. All right, so that's that. I don't think we really need to go through the National League stuff because we don't care that much about it. The other thing that I want to look at is team rankings. So for batting average, we are 10th. That's not that bad, but I would like to see that come up and expect that it will a little bit. I would say we will probably end up in the top 5 in that category for the season, so we'll see how that goes. Runs scored, we are tied for 3rd. That's pretty darn good. Getting a bunch of hits. We're 3rd in doubles. Triples are a category that's not super important, but where are we, just out of curiosity? Tied for 26th. Home runs, we are 6th, so we've got some pop to go with that, batting average that's also going to hopefully come up towards the top 5. And then, let's see, stolen bases. Thought we'd be higher. Right in the middle. And if we can, get Jorge Colon hitting more and getting on base, he might start helping us creep up that list. We've only been caught stealing 5 times, so we are efficient when we do try to steal. So that's a good thing. Walks, I'll bet you we're very well. Actually, we're 24th, which is higher than I would have thought. I would have thought we would have been like close to dead last, because I imagine we're doing well here. Maybe not. Right in the middle. That's kind of interesting. Now, Trey Mancini is a big reason for that. He is just feast or famine. So, in fact, I think he might be leading the league in strikeouts. So, that's never a good sign. Slugging, 9th. On base percentage, right in the middle. Are we hitting into a lot of double plays? We are in the middle of the pack. Not a huge deal. Now, I don't care about those numbers. This is the one that I care about. Fielding percentage. As long as we're, oh gosh, 21st. Come on, guys. That I'm surprised by, because we have, for the most part, I feel like a lot of our guys are pretty solid defensively. But, I mean, we've got a couple of guys that are, you know, perennial gold glove contenders. So what's that about? ERA, we are 6th. I will take that. We've got the most complete games, the most shutouts. Saves, I don't care about. Blown saves, though. Where are we overall, including Osuna? He's got 3, and our entire team only has 5. So, considering that we're 10th on that list, and he has been awful, that number could improve really quickly. Now, hits allowed, we're 6th. That's really good. That means we're not giving up a lot of hard contact, and that should translate in runs allowed. We're 8th. Some of those have been defensive. Home runs allowed, 9th. I'll take top 10 in that category. I'd like to see top 5, but home runs allowed, as long as you're keeping both that and walks allowed near the top, we're good. And we're 12th in that category, which I'd like to be a little bit better, but that's not terrible. Strikeouts, 17th. I thought we'd be higher on that list, but not a big deal. And then win percentage is just a reflection of how good your team is. So what else should we look at around the league? Let's just look real quick at all-star voting so far. So as of right now, Syndergaard, Navarro, and John Means would all be all-stars. That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's like Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz kind of, dynamic as far as just how good those guys have been. I'm not sure that I would put John Means in the same category as Tom Glavine, and I would have to compare Syndergaard more to Smoltz. Would not be fair to compare anybody to Greg Maddux, let alone a youngster like Pablo Navarro with 55 control. If his command was like 99 and he had a filthy sinker, then maybe. But bottom line is that trio has been awesome. For relief pitchers, I don't see anybody on my team that's even in the hunt there. We will not have a closer in the mix unless Osuna just has like a scorching hot next couple of months. He's not going to even sniff the All-Star game. Adley Rutschman, way down that list. He's just got to hit home runs. I don't know what to do about that. It's not hugely disappointing as long as his average is solid, but I'd like to see him hitting 10 to 15 home runs a season, and he's just not doing it. First base, we don't have anybody in the mix. Second base, nobody in the mix. Corey Seager, there's Devers, and I'll bet Seager, yeah, they list him as a shortstop, even though he's playing second base 99% of the time that he's playing defense. So whatever, not a big deal. Left field, nobody for us there. Austin Hayes, come on, dude. No love. How's he not getting better love than a Rosarena? I get Mike Trout. I mean, his numbers are overall better. He's got the stolen bases to go with the power and the average and the RBIs. But a Rosarena, like, come on, man. Whatever, not a big deal. Right field, we are actually Santander's getting some recognition, I guess. But I don't see him making it. So, especially with these guys up there smashing home runs and having the average way up. So, anything else that we need to consider here? I will say, actually, let's look just real quick at, we'll look at the lineups for our AAA and AA organizations so far just to see what kind of start these guys are off to. Vavra swinging the bat well, hitting 301. No power, but that's okay. I like to see the average where it is, which tells me that maybe he'll get some development if he can keep doing that all season long. Peter Welch was hot and then cooled off like over the last week, but 287, 3 home runs is not that bad, and he's still young, so lots of room to develop. Brandon Marsh has sucked. So he did well in spring training, but has not translated to the regular season in AAA. Maybe he's just not motivated. I don't know. De La Rosa has been decent. Kyle Stowers has also been terrible. Wynn's not very good. Now, Eric Pena, they had him on the bench to start the season. So I shuffled up the lineups and got him in there. Recently, he's getting more at-bats now, and that average is sky high. So far, so good with what we're getting out of him. And then on the bench, nothing really to report. Although Ricky Gold's swinging it well, 319. He needs more at-bats, I guess, to see if that's going to hold up. But he ain't going to get more at-bats because I don't ever see him being a huge asset for us, and I'm not going to invest the innings in him. This Gunnar was basically the reason why Eric Pena was not in the lineup. They had him playing shortstop and Terran Vavra DHing. So I pulled him out of the lineup, moved Marsh to DH so that I could put Pena in the outfield. So that's that. And then at AA, let's see. I don't know how good any of these guys are as far as potential. Let's look for guys. Okay, so this was one of our, I think he was a first-round draft pick a year or two ago. So he's only a B potential, but 20 years old, and he's off to a really good start for the season. So now AA would have just kicked off their season a week or two ago, so not a lot of reps yet. Wow, dude. 091. Nobody else doing anything outrageous in these lineups. So I'm just trying to see if there are any of these guys that I want to make sure. Jeffrey Cole. Second base. What do we have at second? Yep, that's about to happen. And then let's put him in there as well. Get him some reps. And then nobody, he's 31. He's a B potential, but he's 31. Don't worry about that. All right, now let's go look at the pitching numbers in those lower organizations just to see where we're at so far. I think he's a C. Yeah, he's young, but a C potential. We'll see if he gets any better. And then same thing here with this guy. I don't have any, like, stud starting pitchers coming up through the ranks now. They're all at the major league levels, basically, at this point. And then we've got some guys, like, look, he's off to a great start. 0-2, but he's been dealing as far as those other numbers go. So I'd love to see this guy turn into a stud. He's 23 years old, B potential, could end up being a pretty good middle reliever for us, perhaps a closer if he really gets a lot better. And then Doherty is a B. Yeah, 18 years old. He was a draft pick last year. 18, B potential, 6 innings across 2 starts. He was pretty sharp. Colligan, also 18 B potential. So maybe these two guys could end up being pretty good for us. They're still really young and already in the low to mid 70s. So that'll be interesting. He's 26. He's up there in age. C potential. Not sure what to expect there, but let's see. Connor Green, D potential, C potential, aging veteran. 29, 27. None of these guys are ever going to help us at the major league level, or at least those guys that we just looked at. Now, Frank Withrow, 23 years old, B potential. Interested to see how this guy does for us. And then Jose Ordonez is a D potential, but he's a 73 overall. I want to leave him at Double A, hoping that he dominates and maybe gets that potential up to a C. And as a result, by the time he's like 25, maybe he's up to the high 70s and is a guy that we can use at the major league level. So we'll see how that goes. But that's a pretty good look at what's going on around the league. And I also want to point out, you see there, it now lists us ranked 10th overall as far as, kind of the power rankings or whatever. And I looked back at where we were in previous seasons. And if I recall correctly, I know the first year we started as 30th. Like, we were dead last. Then the next season, we went up to like 22nd and won the World Series. Last year, we were still like 21st or 20th and won the World Series. So the fact that we're now up into the top 10, this team has like drastically improved their roster to the point where we could be really good for a while, as long as we can kind of keep the keep the squad together for the most part. I don't know if we'll be able to afford signing a bunch of these studs that we've got coming up through the ranks that are now kind of breaking into the majors, but we've got a few years of a window to hopefully continue and be really good. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and we will see y'all next time.